It is time to piss some people off, baby. This one's gonna go great, I think, because certainly nobody on the internet will get upset that perhaps they may not be the most correct as they might think. But today we're not here to try and upset anybody. We're just trying to have some fun. I also would like to disabuse some folks of perhaps a ill-advised notion. The reason why we're doing this video is because I was watching YouTube the other day and some guy called Dork in the Road got snuck into my feed and he was having some fun making some videos talking about ADV and dual sport hot takes. And I figured it'd be fun to talk about some just general motorcycle hot takes because I talk about all kinds of motorcycles. I will leave a link to Ben's video though. They're kind of fun. I think he's done multiple of them, but there'll be a link down below. And I am gonna try to keep this one high and tight because it doesn't need to be super long. So let's dive on in with the first one, and that is, you're probably riding the wrong motorcycle. This one is specifically aimed at the new rider out there or somebody who's been riding for a little bit of time and doesn't have a lot of experience on other kinds of motorcycles. The reason I feel comfortable saying this is because I made some bad choices when I was getting started in riding a motorcycle because I had no idea. And it is 100% not your fault. A lot of people get into motorcycles because they see a bike in media and they're like, that thing's super cool, or maybe their dad or granddad or whoever in their family rode and they're used to seeing that as the image of a motorcycle. It really, when you're getting started with this hobby, it's very much a kind of primal attraction. Myself, for example, I saw it either as Harleys or crotch rockets. And so I wanted a Harley because I wanted A, an American motorcycle, B, one that's comfy, one that looked cool, all that stuff, which makes it all the funnier that I got a Street 750. But again, I know that you got the wrong motorcycle because I got the wrong motorcycle. There's only one way to find out what the right motorcycle is for you, and that is to ride a whole bunch of them. So if you're somebody out there who's getting started and you're not sure what bike you want to get, if you're going to the MSF course, they probably have a couple of different kinds of bikes. Try to switch it up. Ride a Rebel, ride a dual sport, ride a sport bike. See if you can try a bunch of different stuff. And even if you can't at the MSF, see if your buddy will let you ride his cruiser or his sport bike or his dual sport or whatever. Just try to broaden your horizons. It will make you a better rider and it will make you understand more what you want out of motorcycling.
Another great way to experience a bunch of different kind of bikes is by renting them on RiderShare.
Yes, this is an ad spot, but stick with me because there's actually a point to all this.
Last year, I rented a Can-Am Ryker for the first time, and originally I thought those were dumb, but then I got it in a corner, wailed on the throttle, and felt it start to drift, and I had a ton of fun. I would never in a million years have forked over $9,000 just to test one out, but now you don't have to. If you've never tried a Harley or a sport bike or a penny farthing bicycle, you'll probably find one on RiderShare. Okay, maybe not the last one, but the point remains, it's a great low-risk way to experience a bunch of different kind of bikes and see what's right for you. Also, if you're like me and you have a motorcycle acquisition problem, you can rent them out to make some extra cash. I've had people rent my KTM, my Sportster, and my Grezzo. So click that link down in the description below and get $25 off your first rental.
Now we had one for the beginners, let's have one for the vets. You, Mr. Veteran, you're not as good at riding as you think you are.
Urge to kill rising.
You want to know how I know? Because I'm not as good at riding as I want to think that I am. It's so easy to fall into this trap because a lot of people will ride for years and years and they'll ride across the country. They'll experience all sorts of cool stuff on different kinds of motorcycles and they'll be like, yeah, I'm awesome. I've never had a wreck. I've felt good about, I'm comfortable with braking. I'm comfortable with body angle. I know all of this stuff. And then, if you're anything like me, you get on a racetrack for the first time and you get diced up the inside by a little kid on a 400 or you go off-road on a little 14 horsepower CRF 250F like I did, and you realize, oh man, I'm way in over my head here. The reality is, yes, seat time is important on a bike, but the more important thing is to have somebody watch you. You can't learn by yourself. You can't learn in a vacuum. You need somebody who knows more than you to tell you that you're doing it wrong, and here's how to do it right. That is why I highly, highly recommend that you look into schools like Champ School. If you're here in Texas, do Ride Smart. Ride Smart, you're riding with actual racers. They're gonna teach you how to go fast around a racetrack. Or if you're interested in off-road riding, there's a really cool opportunity coming up in June where you can click the link down in the description below and check out the XT ADV event. That one is literally designed to get somebody who has no dirt bike experience to ride some killer single track within 5 days and to get you to feel confident doing it. If you don't believe me, there's a link underneath that link to a Dark in the Road video showing you the extent of that training camp. It's awesome. Those guys got me to ride some of the most insane single track I've ever done in my life, and they just sort of threw me in. This, they're actually trying to coach you. They're trying to make you feel more comfortable. You'll be popping wheelies and hopping logs so fast, and you're gonna realize how much fun it is. But even if that's not your thing, you can check out all sorts of slow speed schools. There's Doodle has a ton of slow speed school stuff. She's also done supermoto training, all sorts of crazy things that you can do on a motorcycle, but it's better if you can have somebody who knows what they're doing watch you. But yeah, that XTADV event, I'm gonna be there. It's June, the first week of June in 25. Click that link down in the description below. Highly, highly recommend it. And there's only like, I think 10 seats available or something like that. So get in while you can. Now we've got two that I think are probably going to upset the egotists out there. I'm sorry, but we have to talk about this. This one's aimed at the sport bike. Well, both of them are kind of aimed at the sport bike guys. But first of all, cruisers can turn. I see this every time I talk about a Harley Davidson or any cruiser for that matter. People think that for some reason, because the wheelbase is longer or because it's heavy, that it can't turn. They absolutely can. If they can't, there's no such thing as a bad motorcycle. Bonus hot take. We'll get into more of that one in another video if you're interested. Let me know down in the comments below. Oh, and let me know some of your hot takes. But anyway, cruisers can turn. They actually are really good. They do have some limiting factors, stuff like ground clearance because they have floorboards and low pegs. But my Sportster, for example, until you start dragging hard parts, it actually corners really, really well. Does it corner like a naked bike? No. This is something that took me a really long time to realize when I started reviewing motorcycles is you need to look at the bike in the category that it's designed to compete in. If you're trying to compare a cruiser to a super sport, of course the cruiser is not going to have nearly as much power, it's not going to be nearly as razor sharp on the side of the tire, but also that R1 ain't going to be nearly as comfortable as the cruiser. It's all about using the right tool for the job. Can you pull a bearing by using a regular hammer? Sure, but a slide hammer works better. In the same vein, can you go down a twisty road on a cruiser? Absolutely. And you can have a great time doing it. But a naked bike might be more fun. It's also worth pointing out that Harley Davidsons, most of them use Brembo brakes. They're just branded Harley Davidson and they're axial, not radial. But I mean, they're still Brembos. Now the fourth one here today, this is the one that's going to ignite the biggest flame war, and I'm kind of saving it for the end because I'm imagining that a lot of people have already clicked off by now. But the amount of consternation and vitriol and anger and rage and death threats. I was on Reddit and I swear to God I saw somebody say you should just give up and kill yourself when they were when this topic came up. I don't understand why people get this butthurt about it. Chicken strips are good. Yes, I have seen death threats over chicken strips, guys. What the f? All right, so what is a chicken strip? A chicken strip is the section of a tire, usually it's the rear tire because it's hard to scrub in your entire front, but it's the section of a rear tire that has yet to be scrubbed in because you haven't leaned all the way over yet. A lot of folks correlate directly the amount of chicken strip that you have left on your tire to your skill level. The understanding being that if you use the entire tire, you're riding harder, you're a better rider. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Give you an example. My CBR 600 F4i that I ride at a racetrack, I'm in the intermediate group. I've been riding around COTA. I've taken that one to COTA twice, 2 or 3 times, and I've done a bunch of other track days. It still has chicken strips on it, but I'm in the intermediate group. I have yet to lean that bike all the way over and scrub off the tire entirely. Now, I'm not saying that I am by any means the best rider out there. However, I have ridden with some of the best riders out there who want you to lean off the motorcycle and actually use less tire. The idea being that if you're leaning your bike all the way over in a corner and you're using 100% of the tire, if you have to lean further because for some reason the road gets tighter than expected, or there's an obstacle that you have to dodge, or whatever, you won't have any tire to work with. However, if you're using good body position, inherently the bike leans less, which means you're using less of that rear tire and having some chicken strips left over, but you can ride the bike harder. It's also worth pointing out, you can go scrub off all of the chicken strips on your bike in like 5 minutes by just turning the bike sideways in a parking lot and then just spinning around. You do that one way and then you do it the other way and then suddenly no chicken strips anymore. And that makes you the best rider on Reddit. Just lay it on me, I'm ready for it. Come on, give me all that hate, give me all the rage. I can handle it, I can feel it. The amount, the nerd rage that is happening in the comments right now, I expect, is probably biblical. And the like-dislike ratio is probably very spicy because all those people are like, now you gotta lean all the way off the bike and ride. Dude, people get so defensive about chicken strips. I don't get it. All the guys I ride with on a racetrack are like, yeah, no, chicken strips are pretty, they're pretty good. Last one, there is such a thing as too many motorcycles. How do I know? I have too many motorcycles. There are 9 bikes in the garage out there right now. One of them is my wife's, the rest of them are mine. I do the maintenance on all of them. And let me tell you, it sounds really great to have multiple different bikes. Like today I want to ride the Tuono, and tomorrow it's the Sportster, and then it's the VMAX, and then I got some Hondas, and then I got the KTM, and then you realize, oh shit, I haven't ridden the Aprilia in 5 weeks, and suddenly the battery's running low, and the tires got flat spots in them because I haven't moved it, and the Honda needs an oil change, and the KTM needs a full rebuild because it's a KTM, and then the Harley Davidson is leaking oil, and it's a nightmare. Personally, I think the right number of motorcycles is somewhere between 2 and 3, maybe 4. It's nice to have one street bike that you can also take on a racetrack, and then to have a dirt bike that you can go play with, or a dual sport that can do double duty. For me, personally, I think that my ideal garage, if I was gonna winnow down the bikes out there right now, I'd keep the Harley, I'd keep the VMAX, I'd keep the KTM, and I'd keep the Tuono. I know a lot of people are like, well, what about the 919? I love that motorcycle. I absolutely do, but right now I'm reaching to the keys of the Tuono more than I am the 919. I still wanna do some stuff with the 919, but that one's really just kind of the channels bike right now. And I rent out almost every one of the motorcycles. Like the KTM has seen more miles lately as a rental bike than I have put on it. I think that you can swap out your bikes all the time. Like maybe you just keep a bike for a year and then you get another one because they're relatively affordable. You know, almost nothing is affordable now, but I mean, you can swap out a motorcycle relatively easily. You know, $6.5 grand, you can get most of that out of a trade-in. And then you can get, you know, a nicer bike. Or maybe you want to try a cruiser for a season, or maybe you want to try a sport bike for a season. But there really isn't much point to acquiring a vast stable of motorcycles because it's just more work than it's worth. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, here at the bottom, I just wanted to say that I'm not attacking anybody. These are just some notions that I see a lot of times on the internet, and I think most of the time they mean well, but they don't realize that they're making a bit of a mistake. And it's fine, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. In fact, if you've got any hot takes, again, let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know. I had a lot of fun making it, and I cannot wait to see the like-dislike ratio on this one. In the meantime, guys, catch you in the next one. See you later.